Welcome to the MSP Corner podcast. Before we kick off our show, we would like to share what our main objective is at the MSP Corner. Our main goal is to help CEOs build profitable and self-sustainable IT service firms. We are not just providing tools for IT firms, we will be sitting in meetings with you to ensure your IT firm stays on track. The first area we are focused on, strategic sales. IT firms are stuck selling technology or IT support. We will provide you with the blueprint so you position your firm as an added value to your prospects. We will have framework on how to sell value so you influence the prospect into selecting your firm. The second area we see many IT firms struggle in is marketing. 90+% of businesses rely on antiquated marketing methods. The most popular choice, word of mouth. We have proven methods on how to attract the ideal prospect. Our framework will include how to become the online authority and be the business influencer for an industry. The third component to our package, scaling. IT firms walk away from opportunities because they lack the bandwidth or skill set to scale. We have lined up reputable businesses so our members can hire on-demand resources that will allow them to scale their business. The fourth area we will offer help in, selecting the right tools. In order to deliver value, you need the right tech stack. Our platform will offer information on products that are the ideal choice for MSPs. The fifth area we will offer help in is with documentation. Templates are a critical component when building an MSP. We will have contracts, proposals, SOWs, collateral, and much more in the template section. You will have every document you need to start up your managed IT service business. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go to our next podcast. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our weekly podcast. I am your host, Fernando Leon, and I am joined by my co-host, Gregory Moravietz. And today's topic, well, we're gonna shift gears and talk about some marketing strategies. And we're gonna talk about today's topic is SEO metrics. And let's kick this show off, and let's just quickly go over the table of contents and why are metrics so critical, right? We'll talk about that. SEO metrics, there's several areas we track. One of those, well, I'll just go over the quick list of what we're going to discuss today is click-through rate, bounce rate, pages per session, average page load time, core web vitals, backlinks, top keywords, and how they rank, and pages crawled per day. So those are the topics we'll be discussing today. So let's kick it off. And why are metrics so critical? Greg, I know that you'll just chime in anytime, but I'm going to give my feedback on why metrics are so critical. Because, well, it's because you can measure them, right? What you can't measure, you can't manage. That's that business saying. So we want to constantly be looking at metrics, and I don't mean like daily. I'm talking monthly on what works, what's not working, and there's a reason why Google Analytics was put in place is so you can measure, all of this traffic that's coming to your website, which keywords are working, what's click-through rates, and the first thing, people are looking at is the click-through rate. It shows the percentage of the people who visit your website. And if you want to know what that click-through rate is, you got to look at how many people are searching for you and how many people are clicking through to access your site. So, that's a big, and what determines click-through? Well, what people are entering a search phrase in a Google search bar, and that determines, what information is coming, is being presented to them through the Google search. And if you are producing great content and you're the Google considers you the online authority, well, then you're going to have a high percentage of people clicking to your site. And that's what you want to see. You want to see a high click-through rate. And how do you measure that? Well, Google Analytics provides that for you. I mean, it provides a lot of data so you can determine this is what's working and this is what's not working. And through the Google Search Console under Performance tab, you can monitor that click through easily. And the click through numbers can be by page, by query, or device. So, monitoring that, the acronym is CTR, click through rate, is something that should be at the top of everyone's list. If you are focusing on SEO metrics, your click-through rate is going to be critical to your company's success, because I mean that's what determines your number of people that are coming through, and um, you want that number to be high. Another important topic to consider is bounce rate, right? Your people are going to either be interested in the information they're reading or they're not. So bounce rate is another metric you need to keep an eye on. So if people are entering ice cream and they're coming to your ice cream page and they're leaving, it's because you're probably not giving them enough information on the topic they're looking for. Right? You got to look at this behavior. People are, and they used to do this on TV, with well, I don't know too much of how they track metrics when people would be, maybe you know, Greg, during the TV days, right? People would tune in to watch shows and they would provide metrics on, oh, this is the most popular show on TV. Do you even know, were they able to determine how many people were watching TV or a specific show, Gregory?
Well, they had demographics. Like if you're a white male, the Nielsen group would give like all like 100. If you were 60% of the population, they'd give 60% of the audience members that they choose a Nielsen box. And then they would keep track of exactly how long you watched things for, what you watched,
Okay.
when you watched it, and so on and so forth. If you were a black person, you were 11%, so they would give only 11% of the, to try to keep it all like within the statistics of the population. They would try to keep it that way. So I mean, yeah, and those families and those households were tracked. Every single thing that they watched on their TV, how long and when, were all monitored.
Interesting. So certain people would receive a Nielsen box.
Yeah, it was a box that hooked up to your TV.
Wow. Wow. So you had to be open to being tracked, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. They paid you. They paid you. They gave you money.
Oh, interesting. I did
They
not
gave you
know
like
that.
$80 a month or whatever.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. How far we've come along with, because now obviously cookies is now tracking us, but um yeah, this bounce rate is now tracked, on what website you're going to, how long you're staying there, what pages you're reading, and just your entire behavior, which is critical to businesses such as Amazon's and Apple's and Facebook's, and they want to know what your habits are. Because let me tell you, once you enter a phrase and they see that you're interested in Nike shoes, you can rest assured you're going to be getting an email from Nike. You're going to be getting remarketed on those Nike shoes. So, I mean, technology has come so far, and I love it. I don't know how you feel about it, but I mean, that's just the way the world has moved now, where it's the new way, the most cost effective way of marketing to the consumer.
Well,
Now,
I was talking to my friend the other day, and he was saying that his one of his friend's daughters um went to, got straight A's in college, got straight A's, and got a marketing degree, got a PhD in marketing, went to work for Amazon, and all she does all day is she works on lengthening the time you spend looking at a picture.
yep, yep,
She just
yeah,
just tries to make it they're trying to get 2 seconds more of your viewing time on ads.
yep.
That's their whole that's they've got PhD people working for $250,000 a year on trying to figure out how much longer you can stare at something.
Wow, wow. Yeah, it's interesting how much money these companies are throwing at tracking this type of behavior, right? And then they're paying people to come up with strategies on to yeah to keep us there a few seconds longer. It's crazy. It's interesting though how a whole industry is now being taught in school on how to do this, because this was not available probably 8, 10 years ago. And
Well,
this whole
another thing too that we experienced early on, the landing page for your front of your website, I would ask people randomly, "What do you think we do?" And they would look at the website and they would say the most strangest things
yep,
that would come out of their mouths, and I'd be like, "Where'd you get that from?" And they're
yeah,
like, "Well, I looked at this graphic here of this wheel, so I think you
yeah.
guys sell wheels." And you're like, "What? Where'd you get that from?" I mean, it's just bizarre the things that people take. Like one word on your website, it might be um, IT. They're like, you work on computers."
Mhm.
They have no idea what you do, but based on your pictures and your words, they formulate their own idea of what you're selling.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because, yeah, images are so powerful. And like you were just mentioning, what this young lady is doing is they're providing images that are keeping people on the site longer. And yeah, images are powerful. Images, I think, are more powerful than words. But I think the headline is the hook, but I think the image is going to play just as equally as important as the hook, because just like you said, it's people make base decisions on the image, and they base answers to images. And yeah, yeah, it's so interesting how people come up with assumptions and answers to their questions based on what they think the image represents. So
Yeah, I mean,
another,
I also want to say I knew this group of guys that they were like trying to figure out what they wanted to do in the space. They were trying to figure out what they wanted to do in like a clothing space. So what
uh
they do is they just brought up like 20 websites and pointed a bunch of keywords for clothes at them, and they brought up 20 website, and each website they'd like they'd highlight something like a hat or a
yeah,
scarf or a sweater or pants or shirts,
yeah,
and they got various degrees of, like you said, analytical data came in,
yeah.
and all of the things they pointed at, all the keywords they got, they created their own brand and went off of what was most popularly being searched.
Hmm,
They didn't even have the faintest idea what they were going to make. They
yeah,
just did it based on what was trending.
interesting. Well, it's funny that you say the trends, right? Because trends, people, marketing decisions are being based on trends, right? So let's say I was reading about, I forget what the term is, but Ryan Reynolds, a famous actor, I'm sure you know who he is. He's Deadpool. His company, they analysis is becoming so big now, right? So people are analyzing what is trending, who is trending, the actor or actress trending, and what he would do, he would, if there was an ad online that went viral, he would quickly, his company would they would hire that actress or actor that went viral, and they would create their own marketing campaign to, or their own agenda, right? And
Yeah, they did that with the Peloton.
yeah, exactly. You see, and then they went viral immediately. It's not like they had to create 100 videos to go viral. They would just piggyback on this person's popularity, and it would go viral. It was, yeah. And there's all these new strategies that people are implementing to go viral. But at the end of the day, it comes down to content. Do people want the content? Is it quality content? And it has to be interesting. It has to be creative. I mean, you can't leave any of those any of that out, because people, they want quality content. It comes down to that. So another metric that caught my eye is a metric that Google provides on Google Analytics is pages per session, right? So you have a visitor that comes to your site, and how many pages are they visiting? Because if you have somebody that comes to your site and they're visiting multiple pages, that just goes to show that you're giving them information they want. So you want to provide engaging content. And we provide IT services, and there's we can go in so many directions with IT services: database support, programming, web development. But you and I made that decision that, look, we are an IT service company. We provide help desk, we provide managed IT services and SOC services. So we don't go out of our wheelhouse to provide another layer of IT services. People consider web development IT services. So, but we don't do that. So I think that when we look at our pages per session, it will show you that we keep our audience engaged because we're giving them information they want, and we're giving them quality content. It's not just a content that um, um, is going to is not valuable, right? Because our content is solving problems for our clients or prospective clients. So, and that's why we have a high pages per session with our current audience. Now, that leads into average page load time. Google is giving you a score each day, or I don't know if it's each month. I don't know how they do this, or how they provide you this score, but your site speed is pivotal. It's critical to your SEO ranking, and it can make or break your business, because you want the average page load time to be very low, right? You want it to be milliseconds. You want that site speed to be fast, so people are getting to your pages, or to the information they're looking for, quickly. Because if Google sees that they're directing people to a site, and they're not getting there fast enough, it's not loading, they're like, why are we pointing people to information that is not working for them, is not they're not getting it? So they're going to immediately downgrade your site. So make sure that you have, an average page load time is fast. So that's a very key metric you need to keep an eye on. The next one, gosh, is called Core Web Vitals, and that's providing a user with you uh, providing an experience for the user, an overall view of how fast the pages load. It's the heart of the UX. What does UX stand for, Gregory? I just have that acronym stuck in my head now.
It's the user
Um,
experience.
yeah, the user experience. And Google wants that user to have. You don't want a website that gets, is hard to navigate. You want it to be fast, but to give a brief description of what those three core web vitals are, it's Google considers first input delay, right? It measures responsiveness, and it quantifies the experience users feel when first interacting with the page, right? And then you have what you call cumulative layout shift, and it measures the visual stability of the site, and the layout. The layout is so key on for people to easily navigate, right? And but these measurements are critical to your score, and it's critical to keeping your audience engaged. And the last one they talk about is largest contentful paint, and this measures perceived load speed, and it marks the point in the page load time and the content, how long it takes for the content to load. But this is all geeky talk that is well versed with the SEO expert. They keep track of this type of information, and they should easily, or should provide the if you have a good SEO guy, he'll provide this in a comprehensive manner that it tells you, look, we need to have a faster speed time. We need to have better layout for your website. The format is awful. They need to provide you that guidance so you keep your audience engaged, because there's so many metrics now that Google is tracking. If you're not hitting on all 8 or 9 of these, you're not going to rank high, and they're going to be your that's organic traffic is the best traffic as far as I'm concerned. Now, backlinks and referring domains is a critical ranking signal for Google. Well, what Google looks at, because if you have quality backlinks and domains that refer you, let's say Cisco would be considered a backlink for us. And obviously, Google views Cisco as a quality site, a quality company. And that would, obviously give us um, big brownie points on the Google scale, because they want to see those type of backlinks connected to your site. And the quality of backlinks matters, and the more quality and the higher amount of backlinks you have is ideal, and it adds to your authority on the Google scale. So, and that's a job for, a lot of this could be done by any technical person. I'd say about 50%, but the other 50%, you got to rely on an SEO guy to come in and go, hey, we need to start building backlinks. We need to look at your page speed. We need to look at your layout. Things they can solve, because we're IT people. We're not web developers and SEO experts. So we should stick to our expertise and rely on experts and practice what we preach, right? Because when we go into a company and we see the CEO as the help desk person, we'll be like, we look at him and say, look, stick to what you're an expert at. Run your company. Leave the tech support to the experts. So I'm going to say the same thing to all the CEOs who try to do SEO for their IT company. Rely on the experts. Don't don't do SEO. Hire an expert. This now the next topic is, keywords. You're the only person that's going to know. Well, an SEO person can help you with it, but if you're going to be going after a specific niche, you're going to understand their pain points, and those keywords, those pain points, those challenges, those are the keywords that you want to rank for, whatever they may be. But this is something you also can track on with the metrics, right? You're going to want to track how those keywords are performing, because if you're writing blogs on keywords that have nothing to do with your site, it's what's the point? So you want to create content that is connected to your keywords, but your keywords have to be something your audience is searching for. You do not want to write about how to solve a printer problem, or I don't know if that's a great example, but you don't want to write about things that are not going to solve a problem for your audience. Is the best description I can muster up here. But keywords is definitely a metric you need to track. And the more popular the keyword, the more content you need to create, because that's what is going to add to your authority level. And there's lots of ways for tracking. You can track your keywords ranking by using a position tracking tool, like it's SEMrush. Yes, S as in Sam, E as in Edward, M as in mom, and then the word rush, right? Like RUSH. So look at that tool. That'll help you plan your keywords and determine which direction your organization should go with when it comes to writing content. And the last topic I'm going to discuss is pages crawled per day, right? And what does that mean is, Google crawlers can index your site easily, and they obviously do it very quickly, but improving your odds of earning a higher ranking on the with Google, you gotta make it easy for Google to scan your site, right? If it's a mess, if your site is a big jigsaw puzzle, yeah, it's not going to rank very high. It's gonna get an awful ranking, and Google doesn't like to see that. Google's clients go to Google because they're looking for information. Google wants to point their customers to quality sites, to sites that are going to solve their clients' problems. And it's got to be, in order to consider that authority, you got to produce quality content. There's just no way around it. But what is quality content? Well, let's look at three things we do. We create podcasts, we create videos, and we write blogs. If you start your own podcast channel, like we did, and we're just having a conversation here, Gregory and I are having a conversation on why IT firms need to focus on SEO metrics. Your organization needs to consider having a podcast on the problems you solve for your clients. You could interview a vendor, you could interview an employee, you could interview a client. It As long as you're talking about things that interest your audience, that will add to your authority. So, but Greg, I'm going to wrap it up unless you wanted to add something else to the metric discussion, because we hit on quite a lot of data here.
Yeah, if you're gonna have like a website, like like on ice cream, you're going to want to make sure that you get low to the ground. You don't like have your website be about ice cream, candy, um, drinks, chocolates, different kinds of chocolates. You don't want to do all that. It's too much. You want to start slow and low, and you want to start tracking what are people clicking on.
Yep.
If you have a website and it's got ice cream as the center point, or IT services, which one are they clicking on? Are they clicking on um, MFA? Are they clicking on security? And then you want to iterate off that. You want to spin off of each of those things. So if someone's clicking on security, you're not going to be writing more stories about MFA. You're not going to be writing more stories about all this other stuff like CDN or Content Development Network or whatever. You're not going to do that. That's
Yep.
crazy. You
Yep.
want to look and see what people are clicking on, what people are liking, what people are gravitating towards. And then you want to create more of that content. I know that sounds boring, but that's the way it is. This is
Yep.
business. Business is not about what you want. It's about what the customers want. And you got to anticipate this and then deliver it.
Yep. Well, we go back to the old days of how people used to advertise. And you already know, back in the day when you and I started, it was TV, radio, billboards, print, trade shows, spamming, email spamming. I mean, very antiquated methods that are still around today, but more and more people are gravitating to the online marketing. And what you just said will help, these individuals who have limited budgets, create some type of online strategy so they can start attracting, that ideal client, that ideal prospect. Because today's advertising, or today's marketing ways, are so much more less expensive than it was back in the day. It was so expensive back in the day. The new way of it's no longer radio ads. People aren't advertising on radio ads. They're advertising on podcasts. And we'll soon be doing a plug for a product, a service, another podcast show, something, because people are realizing that people aren't listening to the radio, and people are listening to podcasts and attending webinars, and that's where people are going to start advertising, and it's just a matter of time. So, but I've hit on all my topics. I don't know if there's anything else you want to hit on.
No, that's it.
All right. All right, then I'll wrap this up, and thank you everybody for listening. And don't forget to sign up to be a member at the MSPcorner.com. Please share our link with a CEO who a CEO who you might think will find our information beneficial to their business. All right, guys. Thanks again. Have a good night. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to sign up to be a member on www.mspcorner.com. Please share our link with a CEO who will find our information beneficial to their business. Have an awesome day.